転生
3 days have passed as we open up on the Black Bull base, inside of which we see the squad eating breakfast. Asta does so on his pillow when he then asks, "Hey, what do magic knights do again?" "Are you serious?" asked Noel. "What? I just don't know the specifics. Also, I thought we just fought people." "We do a hell of a lot more than that," Magna shouts. Vanessa says, "Yeah, we protect the peace or whatever." "While you're drunk? That sounds dangerous." Magna yells, "She's just constantly drunk. I mean, don't listen to her of all people." "Okay, I don't really care. I was just asking. I get free meals, I sleep all the time. Nothing could be better. Thanks, Charmy-senpai." "Of course, leave it to me." "They're all weirdos by all accounts," thought Noel, "but they're nice." A few hours later is when Noel and Asta would actually get a mission, of course concerning Sashi village, and so they take off, with Noel riding Magna's crazy cyclone. "This is so tacky. Why did you do this to your flying broom?" "Oh, shut up. Why don't you use your own, huh?" "Why?" "Because you can't control her magic that well." "Don't tell him that." "It's okay. I'll help you, and so will Magna-senpai. He's a man's man." "Hell yeah, I am. Just don't call me Rooster. Ever again." "I don't think that's possible." "Why not?" "I'm a noble, that's why." Just then, as they're arguing, Asta dips down, taking the attention of the two, and he holds his hand forward as he has Chastiful take its first form, piercing a hole into what seems like a barrier of mist far ahead. He goes through that open path, which the others follow him through, before it closes behind. While they head in between the mist, Magna wonders, "The hell's going on?" "Don't know, but it's making me uneasy," said Asta. He speeds up, saying, "I'll go on ahead." Like a blur, he moves and would soon reach the village's epicenter and come to a stop, catching everyone's attention as he sees 4 mages, some with hoods on, and one proudly showing his face. This will be Heath. "It's a magic night. We're saved. Thank God." "Do you also wish to interfere with me?" asked Heath. "I'm pressed on time." Asta, however, lands and doesn't say anything, making his way towards the villagers. He kneels down, checking the pulse of an old man. Half his torso was frozen with ice, and he wouldn't open his eyes. This is when he heard the cries of his grandson. Grandpa, he tried to protect us. He kept going at them." "The chief's dead? Oh my God, no. No, Grandpa, why did you... A rage boils inside the young mage as he displaces the chief for the image of Father Orsi. He had always been one for going with the flow, but someone hurting his family or someone else's family, he couldn't let it pass. He stands shouting, "Fifth form, increase." The spear would split into dozens of daggers, much to the surprise of the mages. They get on guard as he creates icicles above Asta and everyone. They all look up in horror. "Oh no, do something! They're gonna kill us!" Asta remains silent, however, and as they drop, onto the scene arrive Asta's comrades. "Fire magic explosive scattershot!" A volley of fireballs strike and destroy the downpour, and Chastafol lashes forward, piercing Heath's comrades in an instant. When did he... "Who the hell are you? You can't be a mere boy," says Heath. Chastafol floats about him, and he doesn't know what to do, not knowing when the next attack would strike, as he's surrounded from all sides. "Don't worry about it," said Asta. The moment that he takes one step back, he finds himself encircled and pierced from all sides. "He's fast," remarked the mage. Why did you do this?" Heath lets out a frozen breath, creating around him a sphere which begins to push back the weapons. "I don't need to explain myself, they're merely rats in the way of my schedule." He takes out a pocket watch and checks it. "Oh, how much time I've wasted. It irks me." Noel shouts, "How could you say that? After what you just did? How could you?" "I see. I usually just let things go. But you can't be for real." Piercing the ice with ease, Chastafol riddles him with cuts as if slicing paper. The daggers then reform into a single spear, at Asta's side, and he finally speaks to the villagers. "Sorry we're late." For peasants like themselves, a night Even one coming out to help, like just one singular knight coming out to help, meant a lot. But this child, he saved them like something out of a story, and the anger he felt on behalf of them was obvious. And they thanked him a million folds. And as they thanked him and his comrades, Asta sees the grandson mourning the chief still, his family. And that vision of potentially someone of his family dying like that was burnt into his eyes. I'm so stupid, he thinks. Noel approaches him and asks if he's okay. He snaps out of his daze and runs to Heath and his men, just thinking. Suddenly, Chastafol begins to shine. Asta didn't understand it at first, but then his mind was filled with a new spell. He slams the floor with his spear. Vines erupt forward, binding the criminals and sapping them with magic. Vine trap. While sapping their magic, however, they are also forced to stay alive due to Asta's ability to control the status of a person, worsening their condition or making it better or nullifying it. The same applies to himself or Chastafol. It can basically be done to almost anything. This should keep them out. Let's serenade him, the village chief, says Asta. Yeah, said Magna. Damn it, old man. Magna himself knew the man. They were quite close. Him and Yami went and played cards with him all the time, and he destroyed them every time. That's how they ended up even coming here, because a commoner or peasant getting magic knights to come to their region near the Forsaken Realm is not easy. That man, that village chief, really cared a lot about his people. As they bury him, the whole village attends, and they're racked with guilt that they couldn't do anything while he risked their life for them. Tears fell until the grandson remained, and from the grave he looks off into the Clover Kingdom lands, sitting curled up, when Asta comes and sits by him. Hey. Noel and Magna watch them from afar as Asta tells him his grandfather was very brave. Yeah, but look where that got us. I couldn't do anything. Why is it always us? Peasants always get the bad end. No, we don't. The kid looks to Asta, who says that he's a peasant, and it surprises him, but Asta says, I took for granted how much I should have to do, and because of that this happened. But I won't give up if you don't. As he stands, he gives him a hand. I'll see you in the Magic Knight Order. Get stronger until then. You can even join my squad. Pretty bold, huh? Said Magna. You're not gonna fall asleep when we get back home, right? Because that's what I think you're gonna do. Getting embarrassed, Asta says he's being serious, and the kid says, okay. Yeah, I won't give up. I'll get stronger, even stronger than you. Good. I guess it kind of makes us rivals. Oh. The ruffle of a feather echoes, and on his head, he finds a certain bird had landed. Who's this, he wonders. I'll just stay with this kid since he's pretty strong. Asta says, what? After these events, the group of criminals are sent to the Magic Knight Investigation Department. The stone that the bird had is also sent there while the bulls return. Not bad, you idiots. Thanks to you, we got 5 stars, said Yami. Yes, finally! Now we're at -25, said Charmy. Noel screams, wait, -20? How? Yami at this point looks around, and Magna says, well, if you're looking for those two being Luck and Asta, they're training right now. I'm actually about to go join them myself, so excuse me. A man with a flaming spirit coming through. Wait for me. Noel runs for him as we cut to Asta, with him weaving blast after blast from Luck, and the senior then blitzes him and swings with a lightning claw, but it is blocked by a spear that is then spun and sends him flying with its flat side by hitting him in the ribs. While he is flying back, it chases after and splits, taking the form of daggers. Crap. Improvising, Luck's magic evolved at that very moment, with him kicking and using a platform of lightning to barely dodge right as Chastafol stops where he once was, having missed their target. Haha, missed me. Wait, where's he? Right from below him, Asta erupts from the soil, with Luck barely dodging in time. However, his chin was scratched. Promotion. An added impact wobbles his brain as his head is knocked back. Asta would then appear above him and strikes down with a drop kick, which sinks him into the ground. The ground spreads in fissures and quakes. Ugh, I keep forgetting he's a physical monster too. The boy would float back as the daggers return to his side, and they all point down at Luck, readying to go again. And for the first time in his life, Asta looks dead serious, even motivated almost. Let's go again, he asks. Luck smiled and he would get up, immediately trying to throw down because, Luck is a battle maniac. He starts to explode with even more power. You're such a busy body today. What happened? Something just clicked. As he says this, in a flash, however, he moves past Luck, coming to a stop, and Luck is struck by a delayed punch as he's thrown towards Asta, who turns to strike with another punch, but he stops. Luck's movement slows to a halt via Asta's telekinesis, and he realizes, oh, he's out cold. Slowly, his face turns worried. Luck. Now we're gonna have to do a little time skip as we enter a newly discovered dungeon. Why does it matter? Asks Asta. Because it's her name, right, Luck? Asks Noelle. Striding forward, Luck says he doesn't really care what she's called. But don't you guys want to let her pick? Oh, right, I can read mine, said Asta. How do you forget something like that? So, what's your name? He stares at her while she rests on his pillow and it thinks. Call me Nero. She's Nero. We can stop talking about it now. Fine. I still think Sylvester was better. She says it sucks. Noelle turns embarrassed, saying to shut up right as they enter the dungeon. It is quite a sight to behold. All the magic around feels like it's hugging them. It was magical. Such a scene is interrupted by an explosion of fire, however, as it suddenly erupts from Luck's feet stepping on a trap. But he backs away. He's not supposed to be excited, but he is, because he's a psychopath. And he says, ooh, this place is fun. No, don't you dare, says Noelle. I'ma do it. He finds and steps on another, this time purposely, and this time arrows of fire drop from above, but Asta turns his pillow to a spear and blocks them all by spinning it. You okay? Perfect! Make him stop! Right before Luck can step on something else, he's grabbed by vines and kept held in place as Asta would fly by. Sprout. Over each and every trap, a flower grows, taking the magic that was used to create them and leaving them now null. Taken care of. Luck is then let down and pouts when Noelle then strikes him to the floor. You idiot! What in the world is wrong with you? Ow, it's not like you got hit. That's not the point here. Oh, some senior you are. Asta returns a spear to a pillow and falls on it again, simply sitting on it and flying around the dungeon, observing it. Then a specific tunnel high up catches his attention, and he flies to it. He watches it. What is it, Asta? Asks Luck. Oh, they're strong. As he backs away from the tunnel, Asta sees that Yuno and his group has arrived on his arc of wind. Hi. Asta, of course you're here. Well, don't sound so sad about it. As they both descended, the arc dissipates into the air. I'm not. It's just weird that we're both here somehow. True. There's no need to talk so much with them, Yuno, said Klaus. We're here on important business. Well, doesn't mean we can't say hello. I'm Mimosa Vermilion. Noelle and Luck would come closer, close enough for Noelle to see her. Mimosa? Oh, Noelle, you joined the Bulls. Can't be easy, huh? She's trying to rile me up, thought Noelle. Having read her mind, Asta thinks, no, she's not. Oh, she said not to do that. It's too late, he already read her mind anyway, but he's not going to do it again, probably. Noelle says that she's doing quite well, and as a matter of fact, they're so good that they were sent here on a mission personally by the Wizard King. We got a star. Preposterous, Klaus said. You? The Black Bulls are a band of miscreants who do nothing but laze around and cause trouble. Everyone knows that. We sound famous, said Luck. Asta says, in the worst way, yeah, but that's just how I like it. Right? Luck said. Speaking of, gotta go. Asta simply says okay, and he can read his heart, so he knows what he's doing. Luck would jump away, so instead of getting mad, Noelle asked Asta what he read in his mind. What do you mean? Asked Yuno. I learned a new spell. I can read people's thoughts. To hear such a spell is possible catches them off guard, because it sounds like he could literally never lose a fight, since he can always read the next move. I think it best that we focus on the matter at hand. Mimosa? She nods and constructs a map using her plant magic. That's amazing, said Asta. Thank you. The main room is there, by the look of Mana. Good, let's go, said Klaus. Don't get in our way, Bulls. Okay. Don't just agree with him. We're also Magic Knights, said Noelle. One of rejects, and you know it. Noelle is tight-lipped and angered at her own weakness, and also insulting the only group of people who've ever actually felt like family just gets on her nerves. But Asta suddenly grabs and puts her on his pillow. She almost hits him while blushing, telling him to go away, but he says, calm down. We just need to prove him wrong. Right at that moment, Nera would sit on Noel's shoulder as if to comfort her, and Asta confirms that she's trying to. The pillow begins to fly off while Asta would follow them from behind. See you there, at the finish line. This sentence is a bit weird to his rival. Asta is an apathetic person and just says how he feels. He doesn't really declare things. He rarely ever says he's going to do something. Of course he gets angry and such, like a normal person, but that sounded like a challenge, says finally. While he flies behind the pillow, Asta holds his hand forward and vines grow from them. These create a blueprint matching the one that Mimosa made, but his had even more details. Turn left. The pillow suddenly swerves in open air and enters another tunnel. Are you sure that's where? When did you make that? She turns and sees the map behind on the pillow, and he says, 4 seconds ago. It's even better than Mimosa's. She wasn't trying to belittle you. What? Mimosa. She was being genuine. You're mad at me? Thanks for telling me. Always. We're here. He and the pillow come to a halt as they enter a new room, and they see Luck in trouble. Luck, move. Looking back, Luck would dart out of the way as a shot of water blows away a trail of smoke from Lotus. I really had that, said Luck. Asta comes in running, rushing by with his long spear saying, you really don't. While jumping back and back, he throws mounds and mounds of smoke, this person being Lotus, if I'm not making that clear enough, which are then shredded through as Asta spins the spirit spear until he then throws it. Increase. This split to daggers that puncture into his body. Ugh, damn, I got stuck with an annoying one. He falls forward as the daggers would retract, turning back into a pillow that Asta holds at his side. You okay? I really did have that, but thanks, said Luck. Now we get to the treasure room, yeah? Says Noel. Yeah. Expand. As he expands the map, we would go to the Golden Dawn. They arrive at the treasure room first, and it is splendid. Nearby there are some small pools, bodies of water, and this area was the biggest in the entire dungeon. As expected, they're not here, said Klaus. Yudo has a sour look. He knows Asta's on the way, but this felt less like a race now. But they were far too relaxed, and Mimosa, in the process, is skewered. Turning, they see her body sliced and punctured by what looks like stones, a crystal, kind of like diamonds, and they were just erupting from the ground. It felt like time slowed down for a moment until her body hit the floor. Mimosa! As they run to her, they have time to check on her, but they know that they can't because they actually felt a presence of a new enemy, and neither of them know healing magic. His presence dwarfs theirs as he arrives on a path of glimmering stone made by his magic. I don't have time for bugs. Move out of the way. This tremendous magic is felt by Luck, who tells Asta the Golden Dawn is in trouble. However, they're only halfway to the treasure room. We'll make it. They can hang on. If Yuno's there, that he'll never give up. To hear Asta so confident in someone, they also put their worries aside and just ride and ride until they finally arrive on the scene. Hovering below, a massive blade prepares to fall on Yuno, who, as Asta said, was the last one standing. Mars, however, stops and turns as he intercepts Luck, who was thrown by Asta using a wall of minerals, and then they just explode to clusters aiming to kill him, but he moves in time and lands down, avoiding them. Noel is flown around and dropped by Chastaful as she runs to Mimosa. Mimosa, is your magic working? Oh, Noel, sorry, it's working very slow. I'm a bit injured. You're always doing stuff like this, Well, this time, I'll be the one who protects you. Her determination unlocks a new spell, and she sees it, so she quickly creates a sea dragon's nest. Asta, you're late, shouts Yuno. His voice echoes until it reaches his brother, who's flying up high, by which point Chastaful will return to his side, and he says, I couldn't protect them. I couldn't. Sorry, Yuno. I'm here now. You're different from the riffraff. The riffraff has feelings, said Luck. Mars wants to face Asta one-on-one, so he uses a new spell and creates an army of mineral clones that all run to take care of the pests. But contrary to what he thought, Yuno was still ready to go, and his magic erupts again, much to his shock and everyone else present. I am not going down that easy. You just wait. After I finish them off, you're next. Both he and Luck attack the clones while Asta glides down, releasing his daggers that fire forward. Mars would swing down with his Leviathan, and it is stopped by a collective force of the second form, but they drill into and shatter the massive blade. As Asta would crash down and pushes at air, but yet sends Mars flying without a touch. While he is flying, the daggers regather behind and pierce him, but an armor of minerals blocks this, but he feels a crack. Quickly he runs off on another path and would throw daggers of his own at Asta, who dodges them while he kept walking forward before bursting with speed. Sunflower. The daggers would lodge into the ground and sprout up a massive plant that fires a golden beam while Mars flies for Asta, who appears right before him, striking his stomach, shattering his armor, and caving in his stomach. Promotion. He is then plunged into the blast and screams as he feels its full brunt. Mars, who felt so invincible not long ago, was beaten in less than 2 minutes. His body drops as the blast stops and the spirit spear takes form of a pillow once again. Slowly, Asta lands, and it is by his side. The clones would shatter to nothing as Luck misses a punch. Oh, good work, Asta. Klaus forced himself to stand and could not believe his eyes. A peasant so easily beating what he and Yuno couldn't beat together. But it's not... How can... They're so strong. Both of them. Amazingly so. Noelle lets down her cradle and hears Mimosa muttering. She doesn't even look back and says, now there's nothing stopping you from healing, so do it right. Thanks, Noelle. I didn't do it for you or anything. Mimosa simply, however, thought that this was cute, because Noelle has always been this way, due to her family situation. Making his way towards Yuno, Asta asks if he's okay. Don't lie to me. Never better. I don't know what you're talking about. You're so stubborn. You can talk. Well, if you don't need healing, then I'll help them. He throws his pillow as it sinks through the floor, growing an open shell that he says to step inside. And Klaus does, while Noelle helps Mimosa do so as well. It then closes, and instantly they feel their bodies heal immediately. Incredible. It's like we never had any injuries to begin with. When done, the shell would reconstruct to Asta's side, of course, as a pillow. Who here can keep him locked up? Klaus ends up putting him in a metal straitjacket, and they all head for the giant gate. So, how are we breaking it? Asked Luck. Asta, said Noelle. On it. Spirit chest to full. Guardian. The pillow flies out and sprouts limbs, now looking like a ferocious bear that strikes the gate while empowered by disaster, and it would spread fissures that would slowly get bigger and bigger until the gate shatters to pieces. Thank you. What is that thing? Asked Klaus. The bear would turn to a 4-leaf grimoire that goes to Asta, and he says nothing else, because clearly Klaus has a look of bafflement and nothing he said was gonna really matter. But after he saw the 4-leaf clover, he got the point. Oh, stop frothing at the mouth, said Noelle. He punches even harder than the bear. Now, the treasure room is infested by these knights as they each try to find something to their liking or something useful. Well, at least on the bull side, they were trying to do that. They just found anything fun and took it. Klaus was actually taking important things as to make up for his uselessness during battle. Thinking about it, I haven't done anything. Not truly. Yuno moves us, and Mimosa gives us direction. What did I do? I couldn't even be a proper senior. He finds Asta floating before him upside down, holding onto his pillow. You're not useless. How do you do all this? Stay so calm in the face of such an enemy. I did nothing while they suffered. If you're gonna ask about bravery, then talk to Yuno. I'm just telling you, you're not useless. I practiced a lot, you know. Magic doesn't... No, it naturally comes to me. I'm not gonna lie about that. What is your point here? What's the harm in making your body surpass its limits? All you lose is a bit of that noble dignity you won't shut up about. Sorry, that was rude. No, you're right. and I apologize for bad-mouthing the bulls. No, you're spot on about us, but they're all good people. Their hearts just need healing. And you plan to do that? They are my friends. Just then, a blinding light would flash, and they turn to see Yuno holding a scroll. They all freeze until it dissipates before they run to him and ask if he's okay. Yeah, perfect. There was this writing. Now it's gone. Check your grimoire, said Asta. Why would I trust me? Check your grimoire. Yuno opens his grimoire and finds that he has a new spell. However, the treasure room begins to shake at that point as a mass of shards is thrown towards them, breaking what remained of the gate as Asta rolls off his pillow, grabbing it and turning it into a spear before striking down and splitting that shard in half. He's back. He darts forward as everyone chases after and would stop, finding Mars in a golem of his own making. His charred body heals itself with fire as Klaus exclaims, complete shock. But that's not possible. 2 attributes? This isn't over yet. It only ends when I'm the last one standing. Asta's mind would fill with sadness, the sadness in Mars's heart. He hears the screams of comrades who were forced to kill, and he was forced to kill the woman that he loved. He sees all those terrible memories. That's enough. Increase. His spear would then turn to a swarm of daggers once again, and there are even more now than before. They're thrown at him as Mars was blocked with his golem, but his arms are shattered before massive branches erupt and grab a hold of him. And right at that point, the foot of luck is found before him, kicking him in the chest, sending him flying out of his shell. He tumbles and continues to roll until he stops at the feet of Asta, who moved to get there and picks him up immediately. The branches freeze in place and now have become part of the dungeon. How could they do that? Make someone do that? They made innocent people play in their barbaric experiments. Kids my age. It's unforgivable. His mana explodes and rumbles the very dungeon as his fury is felt by none more than his group. He seemed like a monster in that moment. Yeah, I don't want to fight him right now, said Luck. Let's go home. Right, said Yuno. Yeah, let's go. The next day, Asta for once chooses to walk, with him and Noelle going for the castle in the capital. While he walks, he would feed Nero while she sits atop his head. When he then notices Noelle and asks, what's wrong? Nothing. I noticed you didn't sleep. I want to be more dependable, that's all. I don't ever want to see that again. You mean, you know a mimosa? Sure. Asta! As he looks forward, he sees Klaus speeding his way, and he comes from another road just to intercept him. He then grabs him by the shoulder, saying, Are you alright? Perfect, just like you. Why are you being so touchy now? Asked Noelle. I've learned my lesson. I should be able to do that much to call myself a knight. Mimosa and Yuno arrive behind him, and they say hi and begin to walk together as a group. Noelle and Mimosa would catch up while the boys have only just started to begin their new dynamic. For the 19th time, we're not mad at you, said Yuno. People have done way worse than you, said Asta, but I'm glad that we're friends now. Sorry, it's just that I've made myself sound like such a buffoon before. Yeah, oh definitely. I deserve that. But from now on, I will strive to surpass myself. Asta, what is your workout regimen? I'll write it down for you. It takes 2 hours to complete. 2 hours? When do you find the time? Asked Yuno. I make time. In the back, meanwhile, Mimosa says Noelle seems much happier now. I've never seen you smiling so much. Yeah, well, they are weirdos for sure, but they're my weirdos. Especially that stupid Asta. Oh, speaking of Asta, does he, Whoa, calm down. What's wrong with you? Your face is all... Wait a minute, no. Yesterday he looked so amazing, my heart skipped a beat before I even realized. You've got to be kidding me. A rival? I mean, I don't care about that idiot. He's just stupid and short and too quiet, but he listens really good. Stop it. Do all girls do that? Thought Asta. I have a lot to learn. They see them just like yelling for no reason in the back, and they're like, yeah, nah, this is weird. Like, let's just do our own shit, you know what I'm saying? Because Yeah, the female species cannot be comprehended by these niggas. They only care about magic. Just then, they reach the castle and they see a certain man in their way. Welcome, everyone. How was your day? Good, said Asta. All the nobles, meanwhile, drop to one knee as Yuno and Asta look about confused. Are you seriously telling me you don't know who the Wizard King is? Asked Klaus. Bow. This takes the boys by surprise. For Yuno, this is the man he's trying to surpass, and for Asta, it's the man his brother has grown stronger from trying to reach. And he wanted to know why. Why such a man who moved him so was, well, appointed as a Wizard King. He wants to understand. But luckily, Julius is very relaxed and he tells them to just be themselves. Come on, get up. Follow me. Now, we're going to do a little flashback prior to the day of meeting Julius and Overchrono. What are they doing here? Arriving at the Golden Dawn base, Noah and Asta came only to be scorned at as if criminals. Many knights gathered at the entrance as they find this to be a spectacle. However, they quickly make way for them, and they would then bow their heads when their captain arrives on the scene. Welcome to the Golden Dawn, Asta. Hello again. They simply rage more at this peasant talking to the one they looked up to as if anyone else, and William notices, but all he can do is sigh. For what purpose have you come to visit? We just came here to give you the rest of the loot, sir, said Noel. Show them. As she looks to Asta, he holds his hand forward and the ground begins to quake as everyone tries to regain balance until a massive beast erupts from the soil and lands. Oslo, says Yuno. What is that thing? He made it with magic? Flying to the beast's head, Asta would pat it, saying not to make fun of his dog, and Yuno waves at the creature, who would bark back happily. You know it? Asked Klaus. Oslo's a good boy, you don't have to worry about it. But he also has a magical ability of his own, separate from Asta, but connected to his grimoire. Opening his mouth wide, the good boy opens a rift in space from which precious gold and items begin to fall, and they fall out almost endlessly. It left the Golden Dawn speechless and all happy to see them look like hooligans, and then eventually it stopped. Good boy, Oslo. You can go back to sleep now. With a roar, the creature is then pulled into Asta's grimoire and takes a rest as Asta would then turn to William. We're keeping the other half since we did have to work. As it should be. Oh, and tell Yami something from me if you don't mind. Sure. What's the message, sir? As we return to present time, Klaus will be telling Julius everything that they encountered. Yes, very good, said Julius. If I may ask, sir, must you listen and pet Oslo? Asked Klaus. Well, like I said, let's not be so formal now. It's a good companion you have here, Asta. The creature then returned to the grimoire as Asta says that he found out that when he was a baby, Oslo was actually found with him, like he delivered him in a basket. He carried my crib to the orphanage when I was barely able to take care of myself. I figured he was a gift from my parents. What else do we have to show? Right, you found something in there, right, asked Julius. Yes, but I still can't decipher it. He holds the grimoire forward and flips to the new spell he gained. Julius gets closer and smiles. The spirit self, eh? Marvelous. He's gonna be strong, he thinks to himself. Can you understand it, sir? Yes, but that is something you'll have to find out for yourself. I'm sorry, it's your own path. I am rooting for you. I expect great things. Thank you. Of course, now let's talk about you. Swerving almost like a serpent to prey, his eyes twinkle as he closes on Asta, who is a bit uncomfortable. What did I do? Nothing. Your Majesty, the way you exist, I can't believe you exist. Most magics have a name, a straightforward element, but clearly you have some form of nature magic, and yet Chastaful and all its forms. And the fact that you can use telekinesis, that is fantastically broken. I can read minds too. Well, don't brag about it, said Yuno. I'm not. You can what? Sorry, I got a bit carried away, asked Asta. Yes, right. Follow me again. I'm just a bit of a researcher when it comes to all things magic. They follow him once again into the corridors and inner halls of the castle, and while they do, Yuno said that he had a question. How can I become the Wizard King? Oh, trying to put me out of a job, are we? Well, I assume you also have the same idea. What, me? No, that's Yuno's thing, said Asta. Rather than becoming Wizard King, I want to know how I can become dependable. Ah, both those questions have the same answer. Earn merit. Merit? Asked Klaus. All you can do is prove yourself. Become known. Your strength and your name known and connected to the ideal you wish to attain. In that way, you make people believe in you. Both were left gawking like children, and Julius would chuckle. Just then, they reached a door. Whatever you do, you're gonna have to earn a lot more merit than these guys before you can even get close. He opens it wide and shows all the captains present, except for Yami and William. But present is Alec-Dora and a few members here to receive awards. Upon even catching a glimpse of her, Nebula and Solid, who are here, can't help but snicker as she almost shrinks in their presence, and Asta takes notice of this. He hears her heart wavering and is angered on her behalf, but she's not the only one being eyed down, as Asta and Yuno, being peasants but being in such a luxurious area of the capital, once again becomes an issue. But because they have 4 leaves, it makes it even more terrifying that they're here. Well, not terrifying, it's just really bad because the hate is about to be crazy. Now, Julius makes his way forward and takes a seat before them, announcing awards to Solid, Nebula, Alec-Dora, Leopold, and Sol. He also congratulates those who went to the dungeon, but they're not awarded anything, just recognized. And then he dropped them all into a banquet where they were meant to be celebrating and left. Why did he make us come here? Thought Klaus. He and Mimosa could barely move from where they were to go talk to their friends, as Alec kept an eye on them from afar. Meanwhile, Yuno and Asta are casually just getting food. Asta has kept his grimoire as is for now. He doesn't want to really cause a little, situation. So, how's the Golden Dawn? Oh, this is really good food. Prickly. I'm about a hair's length away from crushing someone's skull in. How are the Black Bulls? Great. A bit weird, but it's fine. Do you regret joining your squad? You're the one who can read minds. What do you think? I don't need to see into your heart. The answer's obvious. You softy. Shut up. All around them, they talked. They were just being, insulted. They were being called commoners, peasants, cheaters, and such. By the way, commoners and peasants are technically different in this world. If you're a peasant, you're less than dirt, as in you have no, family name or anything. You're basically literally a street rat. If you're a commoner, you were just a basic civilian. That's why I keep being specific about calling them peasants, because Asta and Yuno have no family and they're orphans. Now, the two act like nothing can bother them because they're lost in their own little world, but this illusion is broken. Help. Quickly turning his head with a look of worry, Asta would hold his arm out. Don't you dare. The spilled water as it nears Noel freezes in the air. Solid is perplexed. This of course catches everyone's attention as Asta marches for Noel and splashes the water in the noble's face. He gets in between her and her sibling. What the hell do you think you're doing? Noel, are you okay? She nods shakily and it only angers Asta more. You bastard, do you know what you just did? Asked Solid. He wipes his face dry. My clothes are ruined. Oh no, he got involved with the Silva, said Mimosa. We have to do something right now. Take even one step and I will hold you myself, said Alec-Dora. They almost forgot that he was eyeing them, and he said that he was disappointed, comforting with the bulls and peasants. Be ashamed of yourselves. Oh, Noel, you have a good little friend, said Nebula. Unfortunately, he's stupid. I guess you guys would make perfect company. A sense of inferiority fed by bias and trauma. What? She asked. I see into your hearts, both of you despising her, ridiculing and hating your own blood. And for what? Status? Pride? Or maybe you truly have nothing about yourself you can be proud of. Noble is the least fitting word for your kind. I call you losers. Shut up! The twins would shout and fire each of their own attacks, a burst of mist and a water snake, both of which as they approach are unraveled before they're sent flying, crashing into the walls of the dining room. The nobles would gasp as Yuno moves his hand down for his grimoire when Asta begins to be encircled in revolving sand, which knocks away Noel. Asta! The sand takes the form of a knight holding him still as Alec-Dora states that he must be put in his place. Who do you... Oh! His body lifts into the air against his own will as his sand is forcefully torn apart. while Asta begins to walk towards the knight. And every step, with every step, he is pushed further and further until he reaches the wall and he begins to sink into it, feeling the pressure only get greater and greater. I wasn't talking to you. I don't even want to look at your heart. I can tell it's ugly. He is then dropped as Asta turns and looks at all these people. When you start this new generation of magic knights, are you going to be remembered for how noble you were or how desperate and callous? Not only did you gang up on one person, but you did so and still think yourselves higher. Fitting words. Inexplicable pressure would crush down upon everyone present as Nozel makes his way forward. I can't disagree with you on that, peasant, but you've gone past your... What is this? Asta doesn't just try to meet and face him head on in magic. He overwhelms it, and its rawness is just inexplicable. As the two approach each other, the eagle and the fairy meet for battle head to head, and the eagle shivers, even buckles. No way, he's stronger than him? Stronger than a captain? Don't you ever hurt my friends again. You thought you were just gonna waltz over here and I beg for forgiveness? Well, too bad. Life doesn't work out as you intended, and all you have to hang on to is that you were born noble. You don't get to lecture me, you sack of shit. His rage intensifies, knocking back and unraveling the image of Nozel's mana, while he himself is pushed back a bit. But he still stands, proud. Got it? asked Asta. You peasant. Now all were left speechless. They thought they could just put him down a peg, but he only became more dangerous. He then walked to Noelle and helped her stand as he checks her, stretching her face and such as if he was a grandma. I'm fine, let go. Thank you. You shouldn't have, but now everyone, don't ever do that again. Never stand there and just take it, because whatever they told you was wrong, Noelle. All of them are just bitter. Lonely and bitter. I took a peek. Yeah, I figured. That guy's amazing, thought Leopold. I thought I would have to step in at least, said Fugolion. Good work, young man. Also, terrifying. Such talent at such a young age. What will he become? The doors are barged open at that moment as a hooded knight announces that they're under attack, and a window creak is heard as they see Asta open up one to see their entire capital was on fire. On the bright side, calm Asta is back, and that's bad news for whoever started this. He leapt out of the window as Klaus says to wait. What are you gonna do? Be dependable. He flies down, staying parallel to the castle walls until he almost touches the ground and takes to the sky again. Okay, I can't take out the flames. There are people still alive, and these zombies are hunting them. The choice is obvious. As he descends, his grimoire transforms, taking the form of Increase as they fly alongside him. They revolve and thrash through any zombie in his path before he stops, and they would shoot forward in a swarm before separating and spreading throughout the entire city. Closing his eyes as if playing piano, each tap and flick to the air from his fingers initiate a piercing attack. Because each dagger is connected to him, he can simultaneously observe each of their movements. It is a bit tricky, but he quickly catches the attention of the knights doing this, and these knights were the ones who were already outside and they were battling already, and they saw that he was bringing the fight to the zombies, and the ones who were up in the castle, they came out and also saw him. They knew it must have been him. But back him up, focus on the people. I can't believe that's a Black Bull robe. I must be dreaming. What the hell are those things? Asked Rades. As he looked around, seeing his creations being destroyed, he saw a swarm of these weapons gathered to him, and they're moving as if they're alive, almost as if they're actually looking at him. It scares him. Who's doing this? Show yourself! His eyes roll up into his sockets as Asta catches him by the hair when he falls. He then turns to a little girl who was nearby. You okay? Fairy? Excuse me? You might be a bit delirious. Sorry I'm late. He drops the criminal and walks to her as he picks her up. Meanwhile, Oslo would arise, snarling at the mage. I saw Winks for a moment, didn't I? I did. I thought I did, thought Marie. This is the little girl, by the way. Now grabbing and tossing him into the air, Oslo will swallow Rades and store him into his dimension space. And then he patters over to Asta, who begins to lick furiously. Well, ferociously. I don't know why I said furiously. He's not mad. Anyway, obviously this tickles, and Asta says that she doesn't have to fear Oslo. I swear he's nice. Asta! He turns to his right and sees Noel running over with Leopold, and while they're running over, they remark that all these daggers flying around. I wonder who's doing this, asked Leopold. You're looking at him, said Noel. Seriously? You must become my rival. No. Why? Currently, each Magic Knight squad present had spread to different districts and soon noticed that the creatures were turning to nothing and falling to the floor, becoming ash. Noel would look up, seeing the daggers that had been flying around, and now they stopped and they were flying back to a central point. He felt the magic as well. It's him, he said. That peasant? Asked Nebula. How dare he embarrass us? But the enemy unleashed enemies this week, thought Noel. Something feels off. So their goal feels even more suspicious now, if I'm being honest, said Asta. What do you mean? Asked Noel. It's like everyone was drawn to spots. Because whoever did this, they knew that we would have to split up. An explosion of magic cuts his word off at that moment as they watch spurts of darkness rise from each district far from them, and in an instant, the signatures of many knights would disappear. They suddenly drop into some random planes and catch themselves. What happened to us? Asked Mimosa. We're at least several hundred kilometers from the capital, says Siren. Alekdor shouts to the sky as he rages. Now with them being gone, new enemies arrived on the scene, some with their own free will, and one of which being a witch who descends on a broom before civilians in the West District. I was planning to play with the ones who escaped, but I guess I'll have the leftovers. Before she even activates her magic, however, a towering tornado rises between her and the people, and it clears to show a descending Yuno. You're not having anything, old lady. Huh? Old lady? You're dead. As for Asta and the others, they were joined by Fuegoleon and found themselves ambushed by many hooded mages. One of the mages summons a massive slime-like creature. Sticky salamander, get him! Let's see how you handle it. He can absorb all your attacks. They all come back to back and are fired at by wind needles, icicles, and many types of magics, and yet they seem calmed, and as they approached, each spell was stopped. Just keep your eyes closed. Marie, was it? Said Asta. The little girl nods and he says, it'll all be over soon. How is he doing that? He's stopping all of our attacks like it's nothing. Asta's telekinesis can control objects and change the trajectory of spells, but it only works if he has a higher magical output and capacity than his opponent, and he has more magic than many people, so he reflects the attack back at them and breaks their formation. As they tumble away, Fuegoleon fires a Solinia, a laser which pierces into Salamander and blows through it, much to the shock of Sally, when Asta's daggers then regather behind it, and in an instant they take the form of a twin-headed spear that plunge into it. You're done. How are you doing that? Stop it! No. Slowly, the creature petrifies until it is encased and made of stone entirely, before then being shattered by the spear as it turns to its fifth form and breaks it apart with those many daggers. Then they regather at Asta's side, retaking the third form of Chastafol, fossilization. Holding that spear, he then puts down Marie and disappears in a blink as he thrusts, sliding past the hooded mage and then swaying back, avoiding a bundle of roots aimed to steal his magic. He moves into the air and then blitzes the mage and slices through his side, petrifying him. Now all that remained was Sally, who began to retreat. You've lost. Give up, said Fuegoleon. Petrification? I can get creative sometimes, said Asta. However, though backed into a corner, she began to laugh, and suddenly a portal formed below the captain. He fell through. Brother! Asta detects and sees someone up on the roofs. He throws his twin-headed spear as it strikes but misses Valtos, who teleports away, leaving Asta clicking his tongue. Where is he? Shouts Leopold. Where do they take him? Asta returns the spear to his side and it returns to grimoire form. I don't know. That girl is gone as well. From the ground, however, the captain then suddenly rises again, and the scene before them, It's harrowing. Leopold runs to his side as the captain bleeds out, now missing an arm. Quickly summoning his pollen garden, Asta has it cover the captain and encase him in an oval-like barrier, which begins to heal his wounds and thus stops the grimoire from glitching in and out of reality. Luckily, his arm was grown back. "Brother!" "He'll live," said Asta. Just then, a shadow looms over them as they look up, and a carpet of silver drops, holding all those taken away from the kingdom. They had just re-arrived. "What happened?" asked Nozel. "An ambush," Noel said. "Captain Fogolian, they were aiming for him all along." A look of anger rises over Nozel's face, over the anger that he feels for his rival. He looks to the peasant, asking, "Recovery rate?" "He'll live, but say no more." What Magic Knight captain he turned out to be. I know, right? He's so pathetic. All eyes would turn to the Silver Twins as they ridiculed the man who put his life on the line for them. And honestly, they're all enraged. That anger was so resounding that Nozel chose to say nothing. And yet, like the twins, they felt that if they said one more thing, they were going to get their asses beat. But this anger that Nozel has bottled up, he thinks about how things would have gone differently if he was stronger. That's all he's taking from this. And the twins, they think about the beating they took from Asta, so they shut up immediately. Even more so, because now they say one more thing, bro, they're dead. And so Nozel would instruct that everyone goes and set up a perimeter. "I couldn't do it. Thanks, Asta. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do something I decided to really do. For once, I thought I failed. I failed." Yo! As he turns, he and the remaining mages meet the gaze of Julius, who surprises them with his appearance. But clearly he's been busy, as he himself looks a bit worried, and he sees his fellow comrade's body on the floor. "What happened? Tell me everything." Moments later, after they fill him on what happened, he just tries to take it all in. "It is our fault for being inadequate," says Charlotte. By this point, they were all gathered outside the medical ward, except for Asta, who was inside, helping Owen by keeping his pollen garden shell active, which helped with the healing process much more. Because Fogolian wasn't just like hurt, he was like fucked up by something. And Julius would never blame his precious knights, of course. People look up to the Magic Knights, and he does as well. "We uphold a sense of peace," he said, "but it doesn't mean that things that aren't out of the ordinary can't surprise us. Some things just aren't within our predictions. Fight with everything you have. That's the only way any of us will be able to rectify this." As he excuses himself, Nozel quickly plans to take this advice to heart because his rival being hurt is unforgivable, and his siblings would pitifully fall behind as they leave. Everyone's resolve would strengthen, as does Leopold's, when the young man would burst out from the ward, declaring that with this marking that he makes on his head, which was the same shape as his brother, that he would never let this happen again. At that point, Asta walks past him, coming out of the ward as well. He holds onto his pillow tightly, and Noel runs to him, asking if he's okay. "Never again. I'll never let anything like this happen again. I swear on my life. And I expect you to do the same." "Agreed. Yeah, we need to get stronger," said Noel. Leopold remarks that he expects as much from his rival, to which Asta says that he doesn't even know who he is, which leaves him perplexed, embarrassed, and embarrassed again. However, they definitely raise a bit of morale by how casual they are and how they're able to still act like kids right now. And Julius can definitely attest to the fact that Asta is becoming more dependable as he wanted. So a declaration was made about these terrorists as well, and in accordance with their efforts, Charmy, Yuno, and Asta are respectively risen up a few ranks. Hours later, we go to the Black Bull base. Wait, what? Seriously? Yami asked Magna to shut up. "From now on, you better start treating Asta and Charmy like your superiors. Apparently, I'm a first-class junior Magic Knight now. So is Miss Charmy." This shocks both Luck and Magna, who grab the floating Asta by his pillow and would head outdoors, saying that they need to train right now, which Asta doesn't really disagree with, but Yami stops them. And as they turn, he says, "Take a break or you'll burn out. Not that it means much, but you usually ought to know your limits. But I wanna relax, idiot. Okay. Just then, Fernando, who has been eavesdropping on this, not creepily at all, by the way, totally normal, he would run down the steps saying that he and Asta should go to a mixer. Basically, it's a 3-man. It would have been a 2-man, but he invited Luck. Because Asta doesn't really mind, he says, yeah, sure, obviously he's going to go with them. So yeah, Luck goes with him. They go to the capital, and they find themselves in a restaurant facing 3 girls. All right, let's start with introductions. I'm Finral Rulercase, 20 years old, and from the Black Bulls. These are my juniors. Hey, Luck Voltia here, 18 years old. Asta, no last name. The girls would quickly take notice of Asta floating on a pillow instead of using a chair, and one asks if it's a magic item. It's my grimoire. It can transform. That's amazing. Oh, I'm Erica. Another girl is named Helen, and the last is Rebecca. Honestly though, Asta and Rebecca don't talk much like the others do because Asta is preoccupied by other things on his mind. He still wonders how he should move forward because, well, he needs to gather merit. This isn't enough for him. He needs to become a pillar people can rely on. What happened at the capital can never happen to them. Not them, never, he thought to himself. He of course refers to his family. And Rebecca asked, are you okay? Huh? Oh no, definitely not. You don't seem better either. I mean, I don't know what we sad sacks are doing here then, she said. Did you even want to come here? No. Wow, instant. But I can't disagree. I'd rather be taking care of my siblings. I hope they haven't gotten into trouble. Yeah, I miss mine too. I miss Nash's constant nagging, Haro and Arlu. Sometimes it feels like they're the ones that are taking care of me. Right? Slowly they bond over their connection to family, and it sparks a conversation. However, Noelle watches from afar. She poses as a server just to make sure no funny business happens. But she doesn't care about Asta or anything. These tsunderes be over here trying to play hard. You know what? Never mind. Asta notices her though because she is literally projecting her emotions, and those can't really be hidden. Like, he doesn't have to read her heart. It was enough so that his magic could pick up her presence. He says nothing though because he's oblivious and dense and thinks that he's just being checked on. And while everyone was having fun, vibing and all that, they are interrupted by a drunk. He comes and starts harassing Rebecca, basically calling her a gold digger, and then he tries to grab her, but then he is frozen still. Huh? What the? Everyone present looks as he's then slammed to the floor and gets knocked out. I know you're drunk, but most of those words were just from you, not the alcohol. Shut up for a bit, said Asta. His deed makes everyone applaud him, but Finral suggests that they run because as knights, being caught up in something like this doesn't look good. So they run or fly out like Asta does, and they would split up. Finral ends up leaving with Luck while Asta goes with Rebecca to her place. Basically, he's the only one that scored for real. This 3-man did not go well, obviously. And Noelle, of course, follows them. As the dawn sets in, we follow a different individual, Gauche. He had gotten more than enough gifts for his little sister and was full to bursting with excitement. He entered the grounds near the orphanage, however, and was met by a horrible scene as Asta spins her around while she hangs on his arms. Asta, you look really skinny, but you're strong, said Rebecca. I just like baggy clothes. It's not on purpose. Oh. As he stops spinning, Marie would land down and see Gauche. Gauche sees her. Rebecca and her siblings present are just playing in the street, but most importantly, Gauche just saw Marie having fun with someone else that wasn't him. You're gonna die today. As he exclaims this, Gauche would fire a mirror ray, which Asta meets with his fist, dispelling it in an instant, much to his senior's surprise. But then he just readies another, while Rebecca and everyone get behind Asta, who says, You're going a bit far. I haven't even started yet. Getting in front of and shielding Asta, however, Marie says to stop and to not hurt him because she is going to marry him. Oh, you charm her, said Rebecca. Is this really the time to be making jokes? No, just trying to calm myself. Fair enough, but I think he's blown his top. This only makes Gauche more mad as he rages and is about to attack again, but the voice of someone makes him stop. On the scene, 2 sisters of the church walk, and they were the ones who took care of Marie and the other children who were orphans around here. Teresa, this is the main nun, the main sister, of course wasn't pleased at all. What is wrong with you? All these years and you're still so immature. Who the hell called for you, you old hag? You impertinent child. Shut up and die already. How can you say that to an elder? I haven't got long for this world. Please, you still have years left, you monster hag. With a sigh, she knows that this will go nowhere, so Teresa simply walks to Marie and tells her that they need to go. And the other sister will be apologizing to the kids, and Teresa takes particular notice of Asta, asking, "What is your name?" "Oh, I'm Asta." "Good afternoon, sister." As he bows, Teresa says that he's heard a lot about him. "Lily spoke of you quite a lot when we met." "Did she?" "If you meet her again, tell her I'm doing my best." "Of course." "Say goodbye, Marie." "Bye, Asta." "Bye, guys. Sorry about the trouble." With his sister ripped away, Ghost just falls to the floor as if his soul had been ripped out, while Asta was invited to stay at Rebecca's home, and he agreed because he wanted to sleep like he always does. But this time his captain told him to do it, so it's an order, so he's on a mission technically. So he would summon his pillow, sleep on it in the room he was given, and hours passed as he peacefully drifted off. So much so that he begins to spread vines and flowers like he did in his room back at the base. However, opening his eyes wide, Asta's pillow would fly out from under him, taking the form of a four-armed bear that blocks a double mirror ray. At which point Asta takes flight and sees two ghosts. "I'm starting to think that you have a screw loose." With a snap of his finger, he grabs the legs of him and his clone with vines that erupt from the floor. They will then crawl up his body and squeeze him and the clone until the clone is dispelled, only leaving him. At which point Asta closes in on him, staring into his eyes. "This is someone else's house. You can't do things like this." "Shut up. You never should have met my sister. That was your crime." "Then doesn't that mean everyone's a criminal?" "Shut up." Pressing his finger on his lips, however, Asta says to be quiet, saying to stop this for now because he's feeling that something is off. Moments later, they exit the house with the flying Asta inspecting the part of the town that they're in. For one, it suddenly started snowing, which is bizarre, but clearly this is due to a spell. They saw people slowly coming out of their houses as well, and they noticed that their kids was missing. And who else would be more equipped to deal with this than the Magic Knights? So when they see them, they run to the two. "Please, I woke up and she was gone. He was sleeping in my arms. I don't know what happened." "Marie," thought Ghosh. "Asta!" He would turn to see Rebecca, who would run out of her house shouting at the top of her lungs that her siblings are gone. "What happened? They're just gone. I can't find them anywhere." I know. It's okay. I'll get him back. I'll get all your kids back. Can't say the same for my senior. He's just an obsessive brother." "Shut up." "Sorry, but it's true." Teresa at that moment arrives, saying that the kids from the orphanage are gone as well. And Asta's look shifts as he would sigh. He would then touch the floor and he holds his hands to the soil. "Ghosh-senpai, if you make any unnecessary movements towards sister, I'll strangle you. I need complete focus. So calm yourself." He knows that he was about to attack her low-key, so he was just telling her in advance, and that warning worked because he may be obsessive, but he's not getting his ass beat by a kid who's like shorter than him. Hell no. Asta's eyes would glow golden as a tree would sprout before him and begin to form, leaving all mesmerized by the spell. The tree, however, had an unusual shape and it looked almost like a giant looking glass. The hole in the tree then begins to radiate energy and opened a portal. Disaster. All-seeing Yggdrasil. "I found them." He's run up to by Ghosh, who asks where they are, and Asta says to jump through the portal. "Let's go get everyone." "I'll come with you as well," said Teresa. "I may be old, but I was a magic knight. Whatever floats your boat. I won't fail again." Ghosh flies in using his broom quickly, and Teresa follows, and Asta goes last, looking at Rebecca one last time with a nod before he plunges into the portal, and he exits through the mouth of Oslo on the other end and lands before a cave. "Marco?" He sees Teresa heating him up while Ghosh is nowhere to be found, so he's clearly gone on ahead. Also, just to explain by the way, Asta used the power of nature in that moment to establish a place for Oslo to sprout up, and Oslo can create portals, so you know the rest, but regardless, that spell is quite powerful, which both Ghosh and Rebecca and everyone else instantly recognized, most specifically Teresa, because she was a Magic Knight captain before. Oslo then closed his mouth and shrank down before running to Asta, who came to Marco's side. He would then hold his hand over his head. Do you know why he's not supposed to be like this? He's quite unresponsive. Do you have any inkling? Not exactly, but I can destroy it. The spell over the boy's mind would shatter at that moment, and this turns his blank stare normal again as he would look around and ask what's happening. You're far from home, said Asta, but my buddy here and sister, they're gonna help you get back home. Isn't that right, boy? As it barks in agreement, Asta would stand, telling the nun that she could do whatever, but she should join them after sending Marco off. And obviously Oslo is gonna help with that. And he flies in. He is completely livid. He quickly catches up to Ghosh, and without speaking a word, the two are completely in sync. They know what they gotta do now. But then a harrowing scream and the sounds of strained moaning are heard as Asta speeds up and would land inside first to find this. The laughing of Baro ceases, however, once a stronger presence is felt by he and his brother Nej. The machine holding the girl is shattered by roots that erupt from the ground and release her right as she's caught by a pillow. Nej then readies a spell. Snow magic. Before he can even finish the full name of it, he is punched across the face and crashes into the walls of the cave as he gags and spews blood. You bastards. What do you think you're doing? What fate awaits Asta? Will he find solace for his troubles about his goal? Find out in the next part of Black Clover, because this is where I'm ending the second chapter. Peace. I'm gone.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget.